Remember when you were in grade school and the lunch ladies would make rich, fudgy brownies with frosting on top? Now you can make your own. Look at that sheet cake or sheet pan full of brownies. This old-fashioned lunch lady brownie recipe is sure to bring you back. It's great for parties. It's a giant big batch so you can feed lots of people. And we're actually going to take the leftovers of these and freeze them and throw them into milkshakes for my mom's birthday. So here we go. I'll show you how to make some brownies. All right, let's make some brownies. Now before we get started, remember this is making a giant batch of brownies. We're making a ton of brownies. So when you hear these numbers and these the amount of ingredients going into this, don't freak out on me. It's going to be okay. This feeds a lot of people. These are party brownies, like feed the whole classroom brownies. So just so you know, don't freak out. We got 2 cups of melted butter in here. We're going to add 4 cups of granulated sugar. See, I told you it was going to be a lot, but it feeds a lot. You're not eating this whole batch by yourself. Okay, so we're just going to get that mixed in there. Getting the sugar mixed into the melted butter will help keep the butter from solidifying if some of your ingredients are still a little bit chilled. So we'll get this mixed in. You know we're off to a good start here. Okay, now we're going to add a cup of cocoa powder. So this is just regular old baking cocoa. You could use Dutch or whatever you have on hand or whatever you like. Oh, it's looking good already, isn't it? Let's get this mixed in. Now we're going to add about 4 teaspoons of vanilla. And then I've got 8 eggs here. I went ahead and beat them a little bit just to get them mixed up. That way they incorporate easier. If you don't want to do that, you can just add them one at a time to make sure that they all get mixed in nice and well. You don't want any egg white strings kind of hanging around, so we'll get these mixed in. All right, got that mostly incorporated. We're going to add a teaspoon of salt. And then 3 cups of flour. Now I'm making these for a big family gathering that we're having tonight. We're having 27 people, so we've got plenty of people to help eat these brownies. Like I said, these are kind of designed like lunch lady brownies like you would serve at a cafeteria. So it's made to serve quite a few people, but it would be perfect for a party, even like a classroom party, a barbecue, a potluck. Bring them to work, share them with people. Again, this is a giant batch, so get this mixed in. You can obviously do this in a mixer if you want. It's a lot of batter to be stirring, but it's kind of fun. All right, we're almost there. We're going to add a teaspoon of baking soda. Get that mixed in well. It's starting to look like brownie batter. All right, and then I'm going to add some chocolate chips. I've got a mix here of milk chocolate and some mini semi-sweet, because when you're making chocolatey desserts, more chocolate's always better. So we're just going to get that mixed in here. And that's pretty much it. We got our batter ready to go. All right, we've got our greased half sheet pan here. So that's 13 by 18 by 1. Again, a giant old batch of brownies we're doing here. We're going to get our batter in here. All right, we'll get this spread out and get it in a 350-degree oven. It'll take about 25 to 30 minutes. You do want these mostly set because we're going to frost them, and it'll just make things easier to serve later. I do like a gooey brownie, but in this case, you're going to want it to be like a nice servable piece. So we'll get this spread out and in the oven. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Now it's time to make some frosting. I've got 2/3 of a cup of cocoa powder here in my mixer bowl. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of hot water. This is going to help bloom the cocoa powder. It just makes it taste more rich and chocolatey and just makes it all that much better. It also kind of brings out a darker color of your chocolate frosting. So we'll just go ahead and get that mixed in real quick. Give it a second. All right, now I'm going to let that sit for a second and let that hot water react with the cocoa powder, and we will be back in just a minute. All right, now I'm going to add 1 stick of softened butter. You can even use melted butter in this recipe. So if you don't have anything softened, you don't have to wait if you don't want to. We'll get that mixed in real quick. All right, once that is good and mixed in, we're going to go ahead and add some powdered sugar. Now, I know I said this earlier, but it's important to remember this is a huge, gigantic batch of brownies. So I'm going to add 5 cups of powdered sugar. Mix in those first 3 and add the rest in a second. Okay, we've got all 5 cups of powdered sugar in there now, so I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of milk. I've got a 1/4 cup here. I'm just going to add it a little bit at a time until we get it the consistency that we want. I'm just going to spread this over the brownies so you can use a looser consistency than normal. I think I'm going to go ahead and use most of it here. And then I'm going to turn up the beater a little bit and make sure it's really well mixed. Alright, as you can see, this pan is nice and full. You don't want to try to use any smaller pan or try to fit any more in there because it's about as full as it can be. Now we'll go ahead and put some of our yummy frosting on top of our brownies. Okay, and we'll get that spread out. That's it, easy peasy, lunch lady brownies, enough for a crowd. Or maybe just for me, maybe I'll hide the rest. It's hard saying. Well, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.